South Fifth Street. Our invocation will be given by Reverend Frank Chlastak of First Christian Church of Poplar, Bluff, and then please remain standing for a pledge of allegiance.
As always, it's my pleasure to be here, also as a citizen of Poplar Bluff. Will you bow your heads and pray with me? Gracious God, thank you for the day that has gone before us and the opportunity to serve you. Thank you for those who have answered the call to serve as councilwomen and men. We pray for our community, our citizens, in these trying financial times. We pray for our leaders to be guided in your wisdom to make wise decisions. Give them the courage also to make those hard decisions that would be best for our community and our citizens. For we ask this in your name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Chlastak.
Thank you for the invite.
Roll call, Clerk Young.
Councilwoman Parson?
Here.
Councilwoman Fox?
Here.
Councilwoman Horton?
Here.
Councilman Smith? Councilwoman Taylor? Mayor Pro Tem Cornman?
Here.
Mayor Davis?
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Any member of the City Council may disclose any possible conflict of interest dealing with either any item on the printed agenda or with any matter discussed at a previous meeting. Seeing none, citizens' input. Each person in the audience may take this opportunity to address the City Council on any matter which is not on the printed agenda. Seeing none, item 7, consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the City Council. If any council member would like to have an item removed from the consent agenda and considered separately, he or she may request to do so.
We received the consent agenda in our packets. I make a motion that we approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda has been approved, accepted. Item 8, workshop items for discussion. Item A, the City Council will consider appointments to the Sycamore Street Community Improvement District Board of Directors. Our City Manager, Mr. Winters, will present.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is an annual action that the council has to take. There's a few different community improvement districts within the city limits. This one is the Sycamore Street Community Improvement District, which is located at the intersection of Sycamore and East Pine, or Business 60. And you're tasked with approving their board of directors annually.
Make a motion to move this to the voting session until June 6th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, the City Council will discuss the American Recovery Plan Act funds and potential grants to nonprofit organizations. Mr. Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is well, we'll start it off as a discussion item and kind of see where it goes. You know, there are the American Recovery Plan Act allows for cities to do a wide variety of things with their funding, and part of that, one of those things is to grant it out to nonprofit organizations. Met with Councilwoman Parsons, Councilwoman Fox, and Councilman Smith week before last and kind of discussed this. And so I'll just kind of let, if the two of you ladies want to kind of share your thoughts and kind of what you're thinking, and we'll just kind of go from there.
So, I mean, speaking of course on behalf of myself and not the committee, I've had several people from different nonprofits in the community come forward saying, you know, that that they've been told that other communities have set aside a portion of the ARPA funds for nonprofits specifically. And so we just felt to do our due diligence that we get a small committee together to try to see if that's something that Poplar Bluff could do. As all of our constituents know, no matter what ward you're in, our community has a long list of projects that we need to do that we could probably use all of these funds on, whether that be demolition or roads or water or sewer or electric. I mean, there's a long list of things. And the three of us, along with, of course, Mr. Winters, discussed the possibility of trying to even do, a small percentage. Matt comprised a list of, I don't know how many, probably 25 or 30 communities.
Yes,
And out
about
of
that.
that, 4 to 5 have given. The rest are not. They're spending it on city funds. So as a committee, I mean, we didn't really make a decision. We wanted to bring it back to the council, but we thought even if we could give, 1% of the funds we receive, approximately, and that would be through an application process. There would be terms just like any other grant fund, that nonprofits that serve Poplar Bluff and reside in the city limits could apply for. Of course, we didn't go into any more detail than that, but that was just something that we thought was just something to maybe start with. As previously stated, we can use every penny of the dollar received on bettering our community with city projects alone. This is just something that we thought that maybe we could step up and help and do for our community as well. So.
And you were going to talk to some group that
Sure.
does the handling of the whole, the fund, the application process?
Yes,
That we didn't have to reinvent the wheel?
the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, they have annual grant rounds that they do for different funds that they hold, and they worked with the city of Nixa, was one of the cities that gave funds out to nonprofits, and the city of Nixa put funds on deposit with them. They developed an application that's online, and the applications were received, and then the funds were distributed out through the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. Of course, the decisions are still come from the council or whoever the council appoints to make those decisions. So those decisions on who would be funded would stay locally.
And what was the cost?
Just like 1% of what you put on deposit, we're going to grant out.
So whatever amount, if any, that we decide, then 1% of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just thought it was something to visit at least while we still have and I was shocked to see that there were so few, cities that were giving, but everybody is in dire need of funds and projects, all that stuff to be completed. So anyway, it was just something at least that should be brought up.
Yeah.
And us discuss as a council.
Yes.
I noticed this is tentatively set to move for vote on June 6th. Is this something that,
Could we, I would like to maybe move to hold another workshop.
well, that's
on
what
this.
I'm thinking as well, and could not a set amount in how many nonprofits
Right.
this will go for? So hopefully by the next meeting, we will know how many.
Well, I think the number of nonprofits would be, if we decide to do it, would be in how many ever applications we get.
Right.
And then we would look through those to decide what the need, more than just saying, here's
Yeah.
$1,000, spend on what you want, you know what I mean? To find a need, I think we'd kind of discuss that.
Well, could we move this for another workshop?
Oh, I definitely think to table it, to have another discussion about it. Because I think a couple of decisions that'll need to be made is if we're going to do it, how much, and then are we going to put a maximum on it per applicant, per award, so the most like somebody could get is X amount of dollars. We can start coming up with some different criteria that if we decided to do it, that it would be the decisions we based on, and we wouldn't just be. I think some of the discussions we had is we don't really. I think, and correct me if I speak out of turn here, I think some of the discussions is we don't really want to pay for salaries and ongoing operational costs like utility bills for nonprofits and that kind of stuff, but more looking at a project that somebody wants to do as opposed to ongoing expenses.
It will be a benefit to the city.
Yes.
To the
Yep.
citizens
Yep.
of the city.
Yeah.
So we need a motion to change that to the June.
If you want till whenever you want to table it for me to bring it back, what's June 6th? Is that
June 6th is our
Will be our
next
next meeting.
But then if we
meeting.
table it, do another workshop on June the 6th, and then table it until the second meeting in June, which is,
The 20th.
We can talk about this for however. I mean, the money's not going away,
Right.
so we can talk about it until everybody's comfortable with what they want to do. I have no time.
what do y'all's?
Well, let's
Frame.
set this for workshop again on June 6th and then go from there if
Yeah,
that's,
because I would like to see, Nixa or whoever, their application, to see what they have, to give us kind of ideas, and, of course, hear from the community, because this is the first they're hearing about it, and just to kind of get some, and then we have, 2 council members that aren't here tonight either, so, yeah, I make a motion, we move this to a second workshop on June 6th.
second. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Item C, the city council will consider a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding a zoning classification for the proposed annexation of property in and around McLean Park. The property owner is Poplar Bluff Parks and Recreation Department. Our city planner, Mr. Sisk.
As this property has been discussed, ran it through planning and zoning, and our staff recommendation as well is to bring it in as RS1, which is rural residential, which allows for parks and recreation areas. So,
And Mr. Sisk, am I correct that planning and zoning recommended that designation for all of them with the exception of that one lot? Is that correct?
yes, and there was some discussion then as to whether or not to proceed with the annexation of that piece of property, but this property and the property to the south as well, all will be recommended to come in as RS1, which is what the adjoining properties already are zoned.
Okay, any further questions? Do we have a motion regarding item C?
I make a motion to approve the recommended zoning classification for the proposed property annexation in and around McLean, with the exception of the city-owned lot in Loch Lomond subdivision and number 2.
Gonna move it
Second.
to June.
June 6th.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's on my paper.
To move,
6 voting.
yes. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I need to make better notes.
Item D, the city council will consider a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding a zoning classification for the proposed annexation of property, approximately 44.9 acres lying east and north of the Ozark Ridge Golf Course, west of Cravens Road and south of South Westwood Boulevard. The property owner is Poplar Bluff Parks and Recreation. Mr. Sisk?
Same situation with this property as well. RS1 will allow for the park to expand and to be used for public recreation. The rules are rural residential.
Make a motion to move this to the voting session held June 6th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item E, the city council would consider a contractual agreement with Bird Partnership. Mr. Sisk?
You should stay up here.
You just-
So we discussed this, and last year was our agreement with Bird was kind of a trial run to see how well it went. Looking at those numbers, it actually went quite well for them. Our feeling was that it did work out. A few bumps in the road with that, but basically they were operated with no profit to the city, or nothing came back to us. We allowed them to operate. All the profits went to them. So this year we are asking that they basically become licensed, and we have proposed a 10-cent per ride fee to come back to the city to operate within the city limits. And they have agreed to that price.
James, how many calls have you gotten for abandoned scooters or?
Haven't actually taken a whole lot of calls. Last year we took several calls, people complaining about different things. I can't say that I've taken any calls on them this year since they've come back into operation for the spring. As far as seeing the abandoned ones, I normally make that call. I see them laying in random places, and generally when I contact their person via email, they get their local contractor right on it. I think that may be a problem with their contractor more than with the company itself, and generally they do get right on it as soon as I notify them.
Seems like I
that I've
see a
seen
lot of
something.
them just laying around.
Yeah.
Well, they can leave them anywhere.
Yeah, I
They
know-
have a
yeah, I know
GPS
that.
on them and they
Yeah.
pick them up.
Right, but it seems like we
Right.
might see them for days at a time in the same place.
And I'm the same way, and that's if there were two laying on Main Street for a better part of 2 weeks, and I notified them that, those two were laying in tall grass, and they disappeared the same day. So they're obviously, as soon as they're notified, they're getting on them.
There has been a change in their contractor, I think.
They did not notify us who the contractor was as of yet this year, so I would assume that would come with the signed agreement, so.
I was really surprised when we were looking at this data, so they started July 1st of 2021, so July 1st through December 31st, they had 9,325 rides and traveled 20,241 miles.
I mean, the kids go crazy.
A lot of miles on a little two-wheeled scooter, I thought. That's kind of
It was
interesting.
pretty mind-blowing, and I think part of that probably had to do with when the college allowed them on campus as well. I know they're getting a lot of use out there. So we can, at any point, we have a dashboard where we can look and see what kind of mileage is coming out of them, how many individual rides. There's a lot of data available. I missed the end of the year last year getting that data downloaded, and they sent it to me. So we did the math, and it was just shy of $10,000, I believe, is what we would have taken in last year. Is that correct? Or am I, sorry?
$1,000.
Yeah, so it's not going to be a large, I missed a decimal point there. It's not going to be a large income for the city. However, they will be licensed compared to last year, so.
And I think, that to cover James's time for the time that he spends, making contact with them when we do have issues, that's, definitely reasonable to account for his time.
Right.
And we did do some research. This number, 10 cents per ride, is on par with some of the other larger cities, a little less than St. Louis and Kansas City, but it's pretty much the same across the board. We asked for 15, they came back with 10, and that was within reason, so that's kind of where Matt and I went with it, so.
Okay. I make a motion to move to the June 6th voting session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Sisk. Item F, the city council will consider bids for certain vacant properties owned by the city of Poplar Bluff. Mr. Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we bought some, if you'll remember, some vacant lots that we had liens on that have been through tax sales several times. We bought them for $1 a piece so that the liens could be wiped off. I put a group of, I put 11 out for bid. We got a bid on one of them of $351. I would recommend that we accept this bid on this one parcel. And now that they've been through the bidding process, we'll list those on our website for sale. And then I have another group that I'll be putting out to bid in the next week or two.
Motion to move this to the voting session until June 6th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Action required items, item AA, bill number 8384. The city council will take action on an ordinance regarding the annexation and zoning designation of 3395 Southwestwood Boulevard.
Motion for first reading of bill number 8384.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
An ordinance annexing certain real property into the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, such property being located at 3395 South Westwood in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and owned by Spire, Missouri LLC.
Motion for second reading of bill number 8384.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
An ordinance annexing certain real property into the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, such property being located at 3395 South Westwood in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and owned by Spire, Missouri LLC.
Motion for adoption of bill 8384.
Second.
Questions, comments? If none, roll call, Clerk Young?
Councilwoman Parson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cornman?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Bill number 8384 has been adopted. Item BB, bill number 8385. The city council will take action on an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contractual agreement with MoDOT regarding an entrance from Highway 142 to a new manufacturing location.
Motion for first reading of bill number 8385.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission relative to access to Highway 142 for an entrance to the Poplar Bluff Industrial Park.
Motion for second reading of bill 8385.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission relative to access to Highway 142 for an entrance to the Poplar Bluff Industrial Park.
Motion for adoption of bill 8385.
Second.
Questions, comments? Clerk Young? Roll call.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cornman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Parson?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Bill number 8385 has been adopted. Item CC, bill number 8386. The city council will take action on an ordinance accepting a bid for the demolition of 211 South Main Street and the city public parking garage on South Broadway.
Motion for first reading of bill 8386.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
An ordinance accepting a bid from Strack Excavating LLC of Cape Girardeau, Missouri for the demolition of the upper level of the downtown parking garage, the adjoining lot, and property at 211 Main Street.
Motion for second reading of bill number 8386.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
An ordinance accepting a bid from Strack Excavating LLC of Cape Girardeau, Missouri for the demolition of the upper level of the downtown parking garage, the adjoining lot, and property at 211 Main Street.
Motion for adoption of bill number 8386.
Second.
Questions, comments? If none, roll call, Clerk Young.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Parson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cornman,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes. Bill number 8386 has been adopted. Item DD, bill number 8387, the city council will take action on an ordinance regarding the added position of lieutenant for the Poplar Bluff Fire Department.
Motion for first reading of bill 8387.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
An ordinance authorizing a new position of lieutenant in the Poplar Bluff Fire Department.
Motion for second reading of bill number 8387.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
An ordinance authorizing a new position of lieutenant in the Poplar Bluff Fire Department.
Motion for adoption of bill number 8387.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call, Clerk Young?
Councilwoman Parson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cornman?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Bill number 8387 has been adopted. Item EE, Resolution Number 1975. The City Council will take action on a resolution calling for a public hearing regarding the annexation of property located at 3260 Mystic Lane, Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Motion for the reading of resolution 1975.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clerk Young?
A resolution with respect to the annexation of a certain unincorporated area to the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, such property being located at 3260 Mystic Lane in Butler County, Missouri, and owned by Steve and Kristen Schweitzer and Brenda Price.
Motion for adoption of resolution 1975.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Roll call, Clerk Young?
Councilwoman Parson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cornman?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Resolution number 1975 has been adopted. Item FF, the City Council of the City of Poplar Bluff will meet in a closed meeting in which they will discuss such matters which are exempted under the Open Meetings Law, Section 610.021.1, .2, .3, .9, .11, .12, .13, and .14 RS Mo. Do we have a motion to go into closed session after the manager's report?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Clerk Young?
Councilwoman Parson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cornman?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Mr. Winters?
I don't have a lot tonight, just, exciting to see some work started on Fair Street. RLP has started moving some dirt and started working on getting the site ready for true manufacturing. If you are traveling down Fair Street, just proceed with caution. They are out there working. It's kind of exciting, kind of neat to see that starting to move forward, starting to break ground. We did have a pre-construction meeting for the grant portion of that, for the public infrastructure portion of that, and they're also doing some of the private site development too for the company. So exciting stuff. That's about all I have.
That's great news.
It was very busy down at the parking garage last weekend for the prom. My granddaughter and her friends just loving them taking pictures, and I'm like, well, you're going to get the last pictures because it's coming down. So the parking garage, they wanted prom pictures there. It was hilarious. There was lots of them. So now they're going to be famous because they get the last pictures of the parking garage. They go down in history.
All right, if there's no further business before the council, do we have a motion to adjourn the regular meeting?
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.